Some experts say it takes 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to make it permanent. In this live stream, I'm going to be sharing with you how I changed my life in 90 days and how you can too. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. It's great to have you. Now, please leave me a comment in the chat to let me know where you're joining from, and I will be sure to bear witness to it and respond to it later. All right, but now let's get into my reinvention story. So, at the beginning of 2025, I was feeling stuck and invisible in my career path. In a previous video, I think it would have been starting over after 40, the move to Taiwan, I shared that a year before that, my husband and I had moved to Taiwan from Florida. And the plan was that my husband would be teaching in Taiwan, and he was also going to be completing an international teaching license, which takes approximately a year. And so we agreed that I was going to help, create a stable home environment and support him to complete his teaching license and also to become stable in a new culture, a new language environment, just a lot of new stuff. So at that point in my career, I had zero teaching, zero coaching clients, zero speaking engagements, and nothing was really happening in my business. So it made perfect sense that we agreed to do this together, and that I would do the home on the home scene, make the home scene stable, and be there. So fast forward to the beginning of 2025. He had completed the international teaching license, had become stable in the teaching job, and now it was my turn to look at what I needed to do. And what I was feeling, I was starting to feel restless. I knew it was time to do something. I just didn't know what it was that I wanted to do. And so I started to pay attention to the signs that I was getting, and I started listening. And what I was getting was YouTube content creator. I was starting to consider it, but as I shared in Not Too Late to Start Over, I heard voices of fear that were extremely loud. And the voices of fear were saying things like, well, maybe it's too late for you to start again. You're not confident on camera. What's the point? Nobody's going to listen to you anyway. Who cares what you think? And, if you haven't checked out that video, Not Too Late to Start Over, I invite you to check it out. I listened for a moment, but I refused to allow those voices of fear to dominate. And so I started to look for people who were in the YouTube content creator space who could help me. And I hired somebody. I think it was we're talking April, in the middle of April. So about 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago, I hired a YouTube content strategist to help me just a 1 day session to map out a plan for what I was going to create, what it was going to look like, what the channel and the content would look like. And I made a plan. I made a decision that day. Actually, I made it before I spoke to her. I made a decision that I would get my first video created by May 31st. So I was going to establish the channel and create my first video by May 31st. I had that tight deadline. So between the time when I spoke to her, I had 6 weeks. I knew that if I listened to the voices of fear, I could never do it. And I couldn't do it on my own. I had no expertise or experience. So I had to lean on somebody who was steps ahead of me, who knew what to do and how to do it so that I could get started. And I gave myself a tight deadline. which was 6 weeks after speaking to her, that I was going to map it out, figure out a way to do it, and I would get it done. And what I want to say about that is, I'm looking at my notes here. I started to focus on doing something every day that would help me to build some momentum. I took one small step every day in terms of my daily habits, my mindset, showing up, showing courage. And by doing something every day, it started to build momentum. So, as a result of that, the results that I received or experienced in 90 days, on the 31st of May, the first video was posted to the channel. And then what happened in the next 90 days surprised me. I went from feeling stuck to seeing momentum, went from being invisible to feeling seen and heard, from feeling fearful to feeling confident, from feeling scattered to being focused. I started to see real changes. I started to receive powerful testimonials on this channel from subscribers and viewers that were validating my purpose, and that felt so great. It helped me to see opportunities. All of a sudden, opportunities started opening up for me. The biggest stuff wasn't just what was happening outside of me, it was what was happening inside of me. And it made me realize that I am capable of doing whatever it is that I want. It's all about what I set my mind to. So, as I mentioned, around 90 days, I pressed publish on the first video for this channel. I had no idea what would happen next. And here's where we are now. Milestones reached: over 2,600 subscribers and counting, over 75,000 views on the channel, first digital product sales. Our Phoenix Reinvention Circle has started. The first couple of paid members are have joined. In mid-July, I had a Jamaica media tour, which included 2 TV interviews and a radio show interview. And now I'm positioning myself for speaking engagements in English-speaking Asian countries and English-speaking communities in Asia. And on top of all that, I just came back just less than 2 days ago to Taiwan after 7 weeks of traveling across the world. If I seem a little bit tired, I took a nap before I got on here because I realized I'm still dealing with jet lag. So I spent 7 weeks traveling, and because I made the decision to reinvent myself, I enjoyed perks like VIP passes that allowed me to save money on attractions, and I found an affordable accommodation that saved a significant amount of money on our accommodation. And that's what happens when you say yes to your reinvention. Doors open, opportunities appear, and blessings show up like magic. All of a sudden, life provides you unexpected blessings. Now, this is not my first reinvention. As I shared in the not too late to start over video, I have done this many times before. Years ago, I left a career as a social worker to teach in South Korea. And so reinvention is in my bones. And I'm here to remind you that it is possible at any age and at any stage. So why am I sharing this with you today? I want to let you know that if it can happen for me, it is there for you too. It's not just for me. And it doesn't take a lifetime. It just takes a decision and a willingness to work with your decision and a daily commitment to your reinvention. So I'm going to come to you. I see that you're in the chat, and I thank you for being here. I'm going to be responding to you toward the end. So I want to share with you, my voice is cracking. I was taking a nap just prior to this session. Before joining you on the live stream, I had to take a nap. So my voice is still waking up, but bear with me. So I'm going to share with you 4 keys, which I'm going to call 4 C's. 4 C's to the how. How can you change your life in 90 days? I'm going to be reading my notes, so bear with me. So the first C, number one is clarity. And the root word for clarity in Latin means clear or bright. So clarity, get clear on what you want. Vague goals will lead to vague results. Clear goals will lead to clear results. And so when I got clear on launching a YouTube channel, it opened the door for me to get that exact result. So there is a quote from Germany, Kent, that says, when the vision is clear, the reality will appear. Sorry, let me read that again. There's a quote from Germany, Kent, that says, when the vision is clear, the results will appear. Excuse me. When the vision is clear, the results will appear. I want you to type clarity in the chat, right? So your first C on how to do it yourself is clarity. All right. Next C. C number 2 is commitment. Commitment means to decide. And decide comes from the Latin root word that means to cut off or to cut away. Decide comes from the Latin root word decidere, which means to cut off or to cut away. In other words, when you make a decision, it means you're cutting off or cutting away some other option, some other possibility. When I made the decision that I was going to start this channel, I cut off some other possibility, some other option. And so I want you to type commitment in the chat. Commitment, which means to decide. That's your C number 2. All right. C number 3 is consistency. Little actions repeated daily over a week or a month or a year is going to lead to transformation. Little actions that you repeat daily, right? Over time leads to weeks, over time leads to months, and so on. So it's going to lead to your transformation. There is a quote from Gretchen Rubin that says, what I do every day matters more than what I do once in a while. What I do every day matters more than what I do once in a while. So type consistency in the chat. I want you to work with me on this because these are powerful keys to how you can change your life in 90 days. All right. So C number 1 or key number 1 is clarity. Number 2 is commitment. And number 3 is consistency. And I just asked you to type those in the chat. And then the 4th one is community. You don't have to do it alone. You can use support and make your journey easier. When I plugged in to the YouTube community and I started to learn of the success stories, of the tips and strategies, and of the best practices, it cut my learning curve and I was able to jump in, and it made my journey much easier because I wasn't doing it alone. I was being supported. And there is a quote that says, community is the place where relationships are built and support is given. Community is the place where relationships are built and support is given. So type community in the chat. All right. I'm going to be wonderful. I'm seeing your comments, and I thank you for your comments and for acknowledging what I'm speaking to. Great. You're responding. Beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely lovely. What I'm seeing here is Wow, 2,600 subscribers in 3 months. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your journey, Miss Lorna. Yes, clarity really is the starting point. You're absolutely correct. And you're correct. Without commitment, clarity is just wishful thinking. That is spot on. I tell you, I'm seeing your comment here, Casey. I struggle, she says, I struggle with being consistent, but I see now how important it is. Yes, absolutely. Consistency is so key because it's building a habit over time, and that's what you want is to build successful habits. So thank you for your comments. I'm going to read on. And now I'm going to be sharing with you 3 practices for your 90-day reinvention. 3 practices for your 90-day reinvention. Practice number 1 is a morning ritual. And I usually start with meditation and gratitude and journaling and all of that. You can pick one. Start your day with one of these empowering habits, whether it's gratitude or meditation or journaling. And when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, who do I choose to be today? And then write down one aligned action which will build a daily habit, because this is where consistency comes in. It's a habit. Build a daily habit of intention because your intention is going to lead to action and your action will lead to momentum over time, right? That same daily habit of doing your meditation or doing your gratitude, it allows you to start to see momentum over time, right? So pick a daily habit. You don't have to pick all 3. I do those on a regular, but I'm encouraging you to do one, whether it's to journal or to do gratitude or meditation, and ask yourself, who do I choose to be today? So that it lines up with your reinvention and what you want to do, where you want to see yourself in the next 90 days. All right. And habit number 2, or I should say, practice number 2 is a weekly courage challenge. So I want you to take one step every week that takes you outside of your comfort zone. Once a week, do something that stretches you, that really stretches you. Maybe speak up in a meeting, or reach out to a new connection, or say yes to something that scares you a little bit. These small acts of courage over time build upon each other and they will rewire your brain for possibility. This is a step of courage, right? Stepping outside of your comfort zone at least once a week. Give yourself the opportunity to feel like you make yourself uncomfortable. I just got back from 7 weeks and I could have, chosen to not do this now, but I'm stretching myself to do this live stream. And so here I am, making myself a little bit uncomfortable while I'm still dealing with jet lag to get on a live stream and not doing it from my head completely. I'm reading from my notes because that's easier for me to do right now. But again, it's these little acts of courage that build on themselves and rewire your brain for possibility. All right. So that's your practice number 2. Practice number 1 is the morning ritual. Practice number 2 is a weekly courage challenge. All right. Yes, 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 yes. I'm checking on the chat right now and seeing that, yes, staying intentional with your mornings. Yes, absolutely. Staying intentional with your mornings is very important because, again, it's building habits, right? And over time, those habits lead to your success, build momentum that lead to your success. So your practice number 3 is a weekly Sunday reflection. So every Sunday, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what moved me forward this week? What moved me forward this week? Every Sunday, take time to pause and reflect. I love to tell you to journal because it's one of the ways that you can get in touch with your your intuition, the voice of God, and you get to see yourself in ways that you wouldn't otherwise. So every Sunday, take the time to just journal and reflect and ask yourself, what moved me forward this week? And then celebrate even the smallest wins. Write down your next step for the coming week. That's one of the things that really moved the needle on my channel, on launching it and setting up. Every week, I would check on myself to see what I had done, what moved me forward, and then I'm setting the next goal for the next week. So you want to write down your next step for the coming week. And what this does, it keeps you accountable to yourself, it keeps you consistent, and it keeps you motivated because you're keeping track. It's a weekly thing. You can do it daily, but ideally, it's just good if you do it even once a week because it gets you in the habit, right? So it is allowing you to be accountable to yourself. You can be accountable to somebody else, but no, nothing is greater than being accountable to yourself. So become accountable to yourself. It keeps you consistent and it keeps you motivated. When you're keeping track like that, you're going to see patterns. You're going to see where you are and you're going to see where you're going next. And if you mess up one week and you don't get it done, no problem. But you allow yourself to get back up and get back on with it. So I've shared with you 3 practices for your 90-day reinvention, starting with your morning habit of journaling or gratitude or meditation, your weekly courage challenge to step outside of your comfort zone every week, and also your weekly reflection to use journaling to ask yourself what moved me forward this week, and then to write down, celebrate your smallest wins, and write down your next step for the coming week. All right, so I've shared with you 4 C's or 4 keys to how you can do it. And now I've shared with you 3 practices that can allow you to start reinventing yourself one day at a time, one week at a time. Now, I want to tell you the truth here. Reinvention is not just about information, right? So I can give you all the information I want, but it's really about implementation. And you can do that so much easier if you have community, if you have support, and if you have accountability. So as I said, reinvention is not just about information. Information is good, but the key is implementation. And how are you going to implement? It's easier for you if you have community, if you have support, and if you have accountability. And that's why I created the Phoenix Reinvention Circle. Now, this is a sacred space where we come together to share wins, we face challenges, and hold each other accountable as we rise into our next chapter. So, if you're ready to go beyond listening to me talk about my reinvention and you're ready to start living your reinvention, join us inside the circle. You don't have to do this alone. You're going to have me, and you're also going to have an incredible community of sisters walking with you. So, what I want you to do at this point is to type in the chat community. Again, community. You did before, I'm going to ask you to do it again. Community. You, me, and a community of sisters walking with you to help you create your reinvention. So you're not just listening to me talk about mine, you are creating yours. All right. Now, let me ask you this. If you could reinvent one area of your life in the next 90 days, what would that be? If you could reinvent one area of your life in the next 90 days, what area would that be? What would you choose to reinvent? Drop it in the chat. If you could reinvent one area of your life in the next 90 days, what would it be? Drop it in the chat. So Whether you are watching live or you're on the replay, I want you to be active, right? Interactive, want you to be participating. And I also want to ask you to grab a journal and write. You're going to write this 90 days from now. What do I want to be celebrating? 90 days from now, what do I want to be celebrating? And I want you to write it down because that is your first step toward making it real. Now, one of the things I want to address is that there are some people who think that the only time that they can reinvent their lives is at the beginning of the year. And I beg to differ with that notion because a lot of people who start off the beginning of the year thinking they're going to reinvent their lives, they never do it because they don't have some of the habits that I've shared with you. So I'm sharing with you how you can do it. And one of the ways to do it is to journal. Grab your journal and write 90 days from now, what do I want to be celebrating? So we are moving into the fourth quarter, right? Because the second quarter would have been, I see, July, August, September. So we are almost we're sort of 2/3 of the way into the third quarter. And so the fourth quarter is October, November, December. But 90 days from now, you're looking at the end of the year. You could be celebrating what you've achieved, what you've accomplished. What do you want to be celebrating at the end of this year? And of course, I want to be celebrating that with you. I want you to be one of our success stories. And you have a community of sisters who can be celebrating, you can be celebrating that with as well. So I want you to do that, right? Write in your journal what you want to be celebrating because that's your first step toward making it real. Now, this is exactly why I created the Phoenix Reinvention Circle. It's a sacred, supportive circle for women who are ready to rise into their next chapter. Now, we've just opened the doors and our first members have already joined. I'm super excited about that. It's really great to have an opportunity or a vision of something that you see possible for others and for people to be open to jumping into it. So I'm very excited and proud of that. And I want you to be part of that. If you've been resonating with my message, with my journey, with the growth, the travel, the reinvention, this is your chance to walk alongside me and other sisters in your own 90-day chapter. See, if I can go from launching a channel 90 days ago to traveling the world for 7 weeks with unexpected perks and support, imagine what could shift in your life in the next 90 days when you step into reinvention with the circle, within the circle of supportive sisters. So this is not about me. You know, I'm blessed that I have had the opportunity to experience this, but I want to make it about you. So I'm inviting you to take a look at that and say to yourself, okay, if she can do it, why can't I? What's stopping me from doing what I want to do? So think about that. Um, Let me see if there's more to respond to in the chat. Community. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for that validation. This comment says this circle is going to change so many lives. And I believe that in every fiber of my being. And I thank you for validating that. Absolutely, absolutely. And here at 29, I feel like I'm just starting. I think I'd reinvent my daily habits so I can bring my best self to the classroom. And this is a teacher talking. Yes, I totally understand that. It says teaching takes so much energy, so I would like also my reinvention is learning how to recharge. That is a key one, is learning how to recharge yourself so that you don't burn out. I thank you for your comments. Let me see if there's any other comments that I have missed. Who else is starting? Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for your lovely responses and comments. I love to have people commenting and sharing with me. It really gives me energy. And thank you. This is so inspiring. This is another comment. This is so inspiring. It reminds me it's never too late to rewrite your story. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments and for being here. And whether you join us live or you are joining us on the replay, this is all about you. As much as it might seem like it's about Lorna, if Lorna can do it, if Lorna can do it, so can you. Lorna is not different than more, not any different than you. She doesn't know anything more than you. She doesn't have anything over you. In fact, many people don't know it. I'm more afraid than many people. I'm not fearless. I have something inside of me, though, that really maybe pushes me to take little steps. I don't do quantum leaps, I take little steps. But little steps is what leads to action, that leads to momentum. So, I'm sharing that with you to say what you're seeing in me, if you're drawn to me, it's because there's something in you that can allow you to have your own results, not Lorna's results, your results. So I'm inviting you to really take that in, allow that to sit with you and settle in your bones. Lorna is not somebody who is so special that, yes, I'm special, and so are you. I'm not so special that I'm the only one who can do this. I am a reflection of you, and if you're being drawn to me and to my message, my journey, my reinvention story, there's something in you that is calling you to do something, because there is a part of you that is calling for that reinvention. So I'm inviting you to do that. So as I get ready to close, here's the message I want to leave with you. In 90 days, your life can look very different than it does today. It doesn't take perfection. It doesn't take waiting until the beginning of the year or 2026 when a lot of people try to reinvent, right? Start over. It doesn't take much more than a decision. It takes a decision and the courage to begin again, one moment at a time, one step at a time. One moment at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time. You've now got the how, as I shared with you the 4 C's, the 4 keys: clarity, commitment, consistency, community. That's how. That's how you do it. You get clear on your goals, because if you have vague goals, you're going to get vague results. If you're clear, you get clear results. Your commitment means you have to decide, and deciding means you cut off every other option and you put blinders on, and this is what you're doing. I had to do that to get to this place, right? So commitment means you decide. Consistency is those little things that you do every day. What you do every day is more important than what you do once in a while. And then community. It's where relationships are built and where you receive support. I also shared 3 simple practices that you start with: a daily morning routine, a weekly act of courage, right, where you step outside your comfort zone, and a weekly reflection where you ask yourself a question to track your wins, celebrate them, and then you figure out what you need to do next and you start taking steps to make yourself accountable. Now, if you commit to doing these, your 90-day transformation begins today. Today, your 90-day commitment starts. And remember, you're not doing this alone. You don't have to. That's why I created the Phoenix Reinvention Circle. So if you're ready to rise, if you're ready to be supported, and you're ready to surround yourself with sisters who are reinventing their lives at the same time too, I would love to see you inside. Your next chapter starts now. All right. So I'm looking again in the chat as I wrapping up. Oh, I love this community. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love that. And we love you. Thank you. So while watching this live, this question popped up now on my mind. What's the next version of me I want to meet? Wow, what a great question that is. What's the next version of you that you want to meet? You get to decide that. And then, as a result of deciding what that next version is that you want to meet, you can then make a decision, right? So you cut off every other option and start working toward that next version of you that you want to meet. So grateful for your wisdom and energy tonight. Thank you so much. I am truly grateful. And I get energy from knowing that you are inspired and you are receiving value from this time together. Can't wait for the next live stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, as we get ready to wrap, I thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, and share with somebody you love. They will thank you because it will be of great value to them. I want to thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live. Take care. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.